Hey everyone, this video is designed for teachers who are wanting to introduce TinkerCAD into their classroom. TinkerCAD makes this really honestly such a simple process. As someone, I've signed my students up for a lot of programs, and sometimes it's really complicated because I have to go like student by student. Sometimes I have to input like 60 student emails in order to get my students signed up for different platforms that I'm using in the classroom. TinkerCAD makes this so smooth. It really is a dream. And what's awesome is TinkerCAD is a free software, and so for no price at all, you can introduce your students to a really powerful tool in the classroom and give them an opportunity to create, not only work with computer-aided design, but I this year had students design a pool table using TinkerCAD that ended up being 3D printed that was fully functional. So they were able to put like these little beads, like these circular beads, like were able to actually play pool using pencils as pool sticks. And when the beads would hit any of the any of the holes in the pool table, they would go right back, right out of the pool table. They'd reach in, pull it out, just like a real pool table. And that was all designed with TinkerCAD. And so while TinkerCAD has this just ridiculously easy learning curve to get started, it's also really available, or it's really easy to move into advanced concepts of TinkerCAD. And when you have when students have really maxed or are starting to create really advanced designs with TinkerCAD, it's easy for them to step to other platforms at that point as well, more advanced platforms or more professional platforms that you might have a subscription for at that point. So I'm a huge fan, could not be a bigger fan of TinkerCAD. If you were a teacher wanting to introduce it, here's how I would get started. So if you go to tinkercad.com, at this point, you would want to click here. I'll adjust my screen real quickly. You just want to click sign up, and I'll get it back here. When you click sign up, obviously you'd want to click educators start here. And it explains that when you set up your classroom, students will join in safe mode. And so this really protects student data, means that the products that they create or the designs that they create are not going to be shared to their TinkerCAD's like overall library. And it also lets you be a moderator of their accounts too. And so after clicking continue, you'll agree with the teacher agreement, and then it will say sign up with email. My school uses Google, and so clicking sign in with Google, it will link your school Google account, so that you would then just click on your school email to get signed in. Since I have already, at this point, I will just click sign in, and I'll click educator. You'll always want to make sure you click educator. Sometimes it's easy to click student accounts when you're getting signed in. Click sign in with Google, and then once you click on your school email or your school Gmail, if your school uses Google, it will give you a list of your classes right here. And you'll see it's pretty straightforward. You'll have your classes, you'll have your personal designs, as well as tutorials. There's all kinds of tutorials that you can access using TinkerCAD, which is pretty amazing. So if you're feeling lost, or if what happens to me is it does not take long for students to surpass my ability on TinkerCAD, there are all kinds of tutorials that students can access using TinkerCAD, and using the resources that are available on TinkerCAD as well. I've clicked on the resources in the top menu right here, and you'll also see there are free lesson plans that you can offer as well. It's just a very innovative platform that is really a dream to use as an instructor. But to create a new class, that's easy as well. You would just click the blue button that says create new class. It says enter classroom name. I'm just going to put demo class for instructional video. Grades, you'll see a list of grades right here. We'll just put college. Subjects, I usually stick with technology, being a STEAM teacher, the T in STEAM. Then I'll click create class. And then you'll see the class right here. So usually what's awesome is the share class link gives you a link, but if you click on it, it also gives you the class code. And I just project this code on my screen, and then that code um, is what students can type in to enter your class on TinkerCAD. And remember, when students do it this way, when they make an account and have joined your class this way, their data is also going to be protected at that point. And so it makes it really easy then. Once your students are in a class, you can click on activities to add a activity that they can all do once they're in your classroom. You can see different designs, and what's awesome is TinkerCAD is not limited to just designs. They can work on code blocks, circuits, and any lesson that you share as well. So honestly, I feel like the possibilities are endless on this platform. But if you do have questions at any point, don't hesitate to ask. You also see there's a co-teachers button right here. I'm very close with the art teacher in my building, and we both work. We have a lot of overlap with the amount of CAD that we use in our rooms, and we've talked about being co-teachers for classes in the future so that students that are both in art and in the more technology slanted class that I have could work on projects together despite being in different classes. And I think another thing with TinkerCAD too that I really, really enjoy is it's not hard to also come up with lessons on your own that is best suited for what your students are working on. I am also very close with my 7th grade social studies teacher in our building, and what's awesome is I know my 7th graders, like I know the class schedule, I know that they're working on Egyptian hieroglyphs. What's awesome is I can start class with having all of my students having draw pads and saying you need to design either a hieroglyph or an Egyptian artifact, and you have to show me through using primary documents what your inspiration was. And what's awesome is you give those if you give those instructions and scaffold it with just like a tutorial on how to use the draw pad, what's amazing is how many different designs students will come up with. The primary documents that they find will really be slated to like whatever they're interested in. And then I've just always been so amazed at the amount of effort that my 7th graders can put into that design. I've also partnered a lot with our 6th grade English teacher in 6th grade ELA, and what she likes is that students will have to go and get evidence from the books that they're reading, where they'll have to read specific passages. So if they're creating artifacts from holes, and there's a lot of different things that they can create from the book holes in TinkerCAD, such as such as like the characters themselves, such as Stanley and Zero and X-Ray, but then they can also create like the tube from Kiss and Kate Barlow. They can also create the capsized boat in the book as well as the bottles of sploosh. If they really want to go all out, they can recreate things like God's Thumb or the Warden's Cabin. I've had students who have actually recreated like the old Camp Green Lake, and what's awesome is that I'm telling you the ideas that my students had from just the basic challenge the 6th grade ELA teacher and I came up with when we were kind of brainstorming cross-curricular lessons. And that is what's possible with this platform. You can honestly set like a very basic design challenges for students, and I have yet to encounter a time where students haven't gone above and beyond those challenges. And then if you add 3D printing, if you have access to a 3D printer in your mix, the sky is really the limit with this platform. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I have been using TinkerCAD now for multiple years in the classroom and could not give a higher praise to any platform that I've used as a classroom teacher. But thank you so much for your time, and yeah, don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything. Thank you so much.